micro level about how you deal with the world. So, no, we haven't. Most of this has been funded either by myself or by predominantly donations of goods in time from people. So what we try to do is, again, be pragmatic. We could go out and do lots of fundraising, and then we have to pay the advertising and the fundraising donation base. Or we could go to somebody. So, for instance, one of the guys that's working on the nutritional products is a fabulous Tango teaching product realisation specialist for the nutrition industry in New Zealand. Actually, his day job is to make very sexy nutritional products. I might have Tango, I like that. I won't say it's but he likes sexy, tasting, beautiful things. That's what he does for a living. So, instead of finding the money to pay him, I went to him and said, look, you're not going to get paid for this, but you can actually change the world. Use your particular secular skills to change the world. And nobody would have asked him that in his life. And so he said, yeah, we'll do it. So tomorrow, a whole team of guys will go, and this in Australia, there's a guy called Nobby. There's always a guy called Nobby in Australia. Nobby is our guy who's working on the special electrical circuitry for, and he's dealing with people in China and getting prototypes made. It's all in Nobby's garage. And Nobby is, wears sandals and walk shorts even in the middle of winter and makes electrical lighting for, boutique lighting for customers in Australia. But when we approached Nobby, because we found him through the internet, I was looking for a certain thing just to buy it, he said, look, you need to do this. And he had in a whole overlay that we didn't know about and didn't think about, extended the life of this product to 40 years. And Nobby was trapped. Nobby could actually use his skills. This little guy in the garage in the back of Maroubra, who's a Greek, wants to help because, I think there must be lots of people like that. We've got architects who help us design factories. There's a vinyl layer going up to Paul to lay vinyl for one of our factories there. And again, that vinyl layer, wouldn't have imagined that he could use that particular secular skill to make a difference. Somewhere in the world, there's people like you that do stuff. And what we were thinking about long term is if we can make a portal to try and draw on some of those resources. So instead of asking for money, quite simply we ask you for your time and some real cash. You have to come down with money, but for instance the cost of manufacturing that, Deb's the company that did all the design work, they did totally all that pro bono and they love doing it. I said to the design engineer that was working on it, a young girl who was doing an internship with Deb, and I said, I want it to look sexy and feel sexy in your hands. People in developing countries are fed up getting rubbish. I want it to sound and reflect so that they know that they'll just get it in the car. And I said, think space technology, think Star Wars, and she got it right. So.
Last question.
Just a specific question about the lenses.
Sorry, can you just pick up a bit?
Oh, sorry, a specific question about the lenses. When you flooded the market with these cheap lenses, did the large manufacturers sort of make it harder for you to do business, or was it like a negative response?
Sorry, what's that?
You said when you released the intraocular lenses, because they were a lot cheaper, did the larger companies?
Oh yeah, I think if you come from a generic pharmaceutical manufacturing, you know that the cheap multinationals are going to slap a lawsuit on you to try and stop you from distributing. And in the case of being a charity, it was a bit different because they couldn't really hoe into a charity. So what they did in the case of the lenses was that this is the lenses are supplied in a sterile pouch, and the pouch protects the sterility of the product for a given number of years. And on the back of that pouch we have an expiry date, which is relating to how long that pouch will remain sterile. And so it's typically about 5 years. So what the Alcon reps were doing was running around all the hospitals saying, this lens will need to be replaced in 5 years. Whereas of course the lens in fact will be there for a lifetime. So there's all that kind of underhanded kind of stuff that goes on. You know, I guess you can start looking under your car for bombs in developing countries, but the reality is that you know, I think God's got a lot more mileage for me to do this kind of work. You know, the thing for all of us is to, if you do nothing else in your career from now on, is to try and pick an ethical business, either to generate yourself or to work for one. It starts there. The whole business of trying to make the world a more ethical place starts from there. So if you, it's easy to sort of trick in Eritrea, that minefield that we walked across was one of thousands of minefields in Eritrea. And you see every day the victims of those kids with missing a lot of eye damage because of shrapnel. And the way that the people who go to work every day make those armaments by influence by saying these armaments will save lives. By deploying them, we will stop things happening. And so, but it's a mad notion. You know, it's just bad. It's bad business. You know, I'd like to get up in the morning and make toys for kids. You know, the lights go on and things. That'd be a great thing. You know, I'd like to be able to have some fun. But for me, you know, I'm an artist by nature. I used to paint and teach painting, and I realised very early on that if I could give somebody their sight back, that person would see millions of paintings in their life. So it didn't seem morally right for me simply to go in my little garret and have a nice life and do a few paintings and show them to maybe 2,000 people a year. To see somebody when the bandages came off, and it's almost like seeing God, because they haven't seen anybody for sometimes 10, 15 years. And again, sometimes we're flat-footed when we try and do good things in developing countries. We're in Vietnam, and we had this guy, and he hadn't seen his wife for 30 years, and their film camera was there, so we thought we'd take the moment when the bandages came off. And the bandages came off, and his wife's standing right in front of him, because he can't recognise her, because he hasn't seen her, and she's not speaking. So the border said, "This is your wife, you haven't seen her for 30 years, what do you think?" And he said, "She looks older."